Yo, what's up guys, my name's Hakiii, and in this video we have the best PvP vehicles in GTA Online, and you can probably guess there's gonna be a lot of weaponized vehicles in this one. With a game as old as this, many people turn to PvPing when they're bored in GTA Online, so let's get into it. We have a fat list to go over, starting with the Toreador. The Toreador is a super useful vehicle that's amphibious, meaning it could go both on land and underwater, and it's got a cool rocket boost on the back that recharges super quick as well. I really like the fact that you can spam the boost both on land and underwater. So underwater, it's basically like a fast submarine, you can say, and it is equipped with a machine gun and some homing missiles. The tracking on the homing missiles it's got is actually pretty good, better than some other ones that we'll talk a little bit later, and it takes 6 homing missiles to fully blow up the vehicle, so defense wise it's pretty solid too. Really good all around car. It's also pretty fun to just mess around with it. It doesn't have to be for PvP use only, and the Toreador is one of the best counter vehicles to use against the almighty Oppressor Mark II, which is extremely popular to use. Let's transition into the Oppressor Mark II now. So it's an awesome vehicle. It does have flying capabilities, of course. Super convenient vehicle to get around the map with. It's probably my #1 go-to vehicle for general missions. With that said, it is one of the most expensive things you can possibly buy in this game. The price of it increased fairly recently to $8 million in the Warstock website, and that's not even factoring in the fact you have to buy a terabyte first, and then you need to upgrade it inside of the terabyte and put homing missiles on it and the flare countermeasures. So it used to be a lot more recently priced, and it actually got nerfed as well. The tracking on the missiles of the Oppressor Mark II used to be overall pretty decent, but now the tracking on it is just not very good. Not nearly as good as, let's say, the Toreador's. Huge price increase and weapon nerf. It's not nearly as good as it used to be. With that said, it's still an amazing vehicle. And with a pretty meh accuracy the homing missiles of it have, I wouldn't really recommend it to go up against most of the vehicles on this list because it would probably lose. When I find myself using it, it does actually miss the target a good amount of the time. If you are skilled enough and you have a lot of experience with the Oppressor Mark II, you could actually just use the lock-off missiles. I know a lot of people use it a lot, and you can actually just get used to using lock-off missiles. Let's say, for example, if you're chasing another player in a land vehicle, but if you don't have the skill to hit a target with lock-off missiles, then there's probably better vehicles on this list that you can use. Next is going to be an Amani Tech vehicle, which actually cannot get locked onto by homing missiles in the first place. I'll make this kind of like a 2-in-1, so I'll take 2 Amani Tech upgradable vehicles that I like best and talk about both of them together. So one is the Buffalo STX and the other is the Omnis EGT. Both great performing vehicles. One, the Buffalo STX, is actually the best in its class by far, the muscle class. The other, the Omnis EGT, isn't the best in its class, but it still performs very well. It's very fast, and it's a fully electric sports car, so it's got some crazy acceleration as well. The Amani Tech upgrades on it really just make it extremely useful. You can put the missile lock-on jammer, which, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. No weaponized vehicle with homing missiles can lock onto you, which is a huge defensive advantage, and at the same time you can throw sticky bombs outside, so that's probably your best bet to actually attack someone. Of course, you also want the extra armor plating upgrade, so it takes several rockets to blow up your vehicle, not just one. Another awesome Amani Tech upgrade you have, so you kind of have to pick and choose which one you want. If you don't want to go for the missile lock-on jammer, there's actually another one which barely anyone uses, and it's actually pretty useful too, but I feel like the missile lock-on jammer is a little bit superior, but feel free to try this one out as well. It is the remote control unit. This makes your car have the ability to be fully remote controlled, which is super cool, so you could just get out of your vehicle, open the interaction menu, and start driving your vehicle like it's remote controlled, except it's a big real size vehicle, and you could just go around the city, and it's a really passive and smart way to go about things. So if there's a tryhard in your session that you're looking to get, go into this RC mode, and then he basically has no way of actually killing you because you're just using a car. Like, your character disappears once you go in this RC mode. It's the exact same function you have with the RC tank and the RC Bandito, just with an actual real size vehicle, which is awesome. Highly recommend this option if you're looking to do more of like a passive strategy for combat. As long as you have yourself an agency business and one of these vehicles, you are all good to go. Then let's move into technically a land vehicle, but it can fly up into the air really high up. I'm referring to the Scramjet. It's a very fun vehicle to use. It's a lot of fun with the rocket boost on the back of it, and you also have a jump boost, so if you activate the jump boost and point the vehicle upwards and then use the rocket boost, you can go super high up. And to some people's surprise, it's actually a decent vehicle for PvPing. It has very good tracking on the homing missiles that it's equipped with, and if someone locks onto you with homing missiles, you can try to use the rocket boost as the missile is tracking onto you and try to get away from it and dodge it. I personally never use it for PvP, I only use it to mess around and have fun with friends in GTA Online sessions, but hypothetically you could use it, it's not bad. Next one is the fastest helicopter in GTA Online, the Sparrow. To get the Sparrow in the first place, you need to own a Kosaka submarine, that's where it's stored. If you already own that, then you have yourself a super convenient helicopter. If you're stuck in the middle of nowhere, just open your interaction menu, go into the Kosaka menu, and request the Moonpool vehicle. I don't know why they call the Sparrow the Moonpool vehicle in the interaction menu, but it almost instantly spawns right next to you, and it's super convenient if you're stuck somewhere or if you just want to get from point A to point B on the map very quick. This is a great transport vehicle for something like that. Now the downside with the Sparrow for PvP battles is it's still a helicopter even though it's fast, so it's a little bit more difficult to dodge a ton of rockets coming at you at a time. So let's move into a jet. The P996 laser is the first jet we're going to be talking about. It's pretty obvious, but with a jet it is much easier to dodge rockets since you're constantly flying at a high speed. If a homing rocket is getting close to you, going in circles should do the job most of the time. I like the fact you have unlimited rockets to use with the laser, you never run out of them, and it's overall a good classic jet with the lock on and lock off missiles and also the explosive cannon, which I really like to use too. If you become more and more experienced with the laser and you actually have good accuracy with it, you can be freaking deadly with the explosive cannon. What I don't like about it is, like with the Oppressor Mark II, it is a bit overpriced, coming in at $6.5 million in the Warstock website. It really should be like $2.5–3 million, but everything is pretty inflated in GTA nowadays. As an honorable mention, I guess I'll also include the B-11 Strike Force. It's also a very good jet. Unlike the laser, the B-11 is actually pretty armored, so it takes several rockets to fully blow it up, and you can like sometimes crash into a building and somehow you'll still survive. I don't know how that makes any sense, but it's GTA once again. Unlike the laser, it also has some countermeasures and stuff like that, so it's another great jet that you should definitely take a look at, and the price of it sits at $3.8 million, so a lot more of a reasonable price I would say than the laser, but I do believe the laser is a bit quicker for sure. Both jets do have their pros and cons, so I guess just weigh them all and see which one you like better. Another helicopter is on our radar. This time it is the Akula. This is a bit of a different helicopter than the Sparrow. It's not the fastest helicopter there is, but it's the most armored helicopter there is. $4.5 million price tag and a trade price of about $3.3 million. The Akula has a really nice selection of weapons to use, like carpet bombing, which you don't see on a lot of vehicles in the game, and when you carpet bomb, your whole screen just shakes like a ton. And it takes 3 homing missiles to blow up the Akula, which is the best you're gonna get for a helicopter. Helicopters really don't take a lot of rockets to blow them up. It's pretty rare to see a helicopter take more than just 1 missile to blow it up. It's usually just 1. Personally, I'd much rather use the Sparrow helicopter for speed and handling, but when it comes to actual weaponry and defense, the Akula probably takes the cake for that one. Next is the ultimate air vehicle in GTA Online, the F-160 Raiju. This jet pretty much has it all. It's got the off the radar ability. I believe by pressing right on the D-pad you can actually activate off the radar, so nobody can see you on the map in an online session, and it's not timed or anything. It's pretty much unlimited. And surprisingly, it's not all about the great abilities it's got for PvP use, but it also has some solid customization. For a jet, it's got some great liveries, and customizing it inside of your hangar can actually be a lot of fun. It also takes the cake for being the fastest jet in the game, and I think that actually makes it the fastest overall vehicle in the game. I don't think there's any vehicle in the game that's faster than this one. If you ask me, it doesn't really justify a price tag of almost $7 million, but I mean, once again, many vehicles in this game are overpriced. Nice set of weapons, and also it has 2 modes of flying, kind of like the Hydra. It has regular plane mode, and then it's also got helicopter mode, I like to call it, where you basically switch the boost to point downwards, and then it basically flies like a helicopter. It's kind of like vertical mode, you can say. We'll say helicopter mode is vertical mode, and then plane mode is horizontal mode, so it could fly 2 different ways. For example, if you want to land the plane in a very tight spot, you could just switch into vertical mode, and then it's much easier to do that. Many people consider this vehicle the #1 overall vehicle in the whole game just because of the amount of weapons it has, the off the radar ability, different flying modes, and the customization, so do what you will with that. Getting locked onto with missiles by other weaponized vehicles shouldn't be that much of an issue because you're flying the fastest vehicle in the game. Let me know what other weaponized vehicles I should have included in this list and what's your go-to PvP vehicle. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you're new. We're on the road to 200,000 subs, so if you do want to help us get there, feel free to, that'd be awesome. Now click the video on screen now for the most fun vehicles you can use in GTA Online. I hope you all enjoy that video, and peace.